was long, crazy.
Alright, welcome to Cbus Creatives Live. We're going to be starting here in just 1 second. Everybody log on and join Nikki while she talks to local paper artist Daniel Colvin. In the meantime, why don't you listen to some tunes from Jay Rivers. This is a nice little live set he put together recently. We'll be on in about 30 seconds.
There. Welcome to Cbus Creatives Live, Season 2, Episode 7 with Daniel Colvin. So Cbus Creatives Live was created so that I could, and I'm Nicolette Swift. I guess I should introduce myself.
Sure. Your show.
Well, then we don't know who I am. Yeah. But it was created so that I could learn to talk about my work and, be in situations where I could talk to other artists about their work. And so it was the box that streams so that I can use my good camera was purchased through a Greater Columbus Arts Council grant, artist in the community grant. Yeah, I'm just already
just rolls off the
doing
tongue.
Great. So today my guest is Daniel Colvin, and you are known as a paper artist
and a paper ninja, yes.
Local arts organizer. So how did we meet?
We met. For those of you who don't know who I am, and that's fine. I'm not anybody super special, so it's okay if you have no idea who I am. But there used to be a gallery over in Old Town East called CS Gallery. It was on the corner of Oak and Parsons. And we did some really, really good things for about 5 years. We were a mentoring gallery for the most part, so we kind of specialized in creating opportunities for artists who would normally have a really hard time getting stuff on the walls, having a safe space to get anything on the wall at any point in time, just to see what happened, And so one of the shows that we put together that was really kind of successful was something that we called Still in Motion. So it was a combination of photography and a film, like a local independent film. So the first year we did it, it was pretty successful. Then the second year we did it, I wanted to try to get some new blood into the gallery, and that's when I tracked down Matt Swift at OSU. And then Matt came with Nikki, and we've just been kind of causing trouble ever since in various art shenanigans.
Imagine that,
right?
Inseparable.
Right? I wouldn't say inseparable, but
not you. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He comes with me by default.
You two.
Yes.
Preferably,
well,
I try to hang out with you as little as possible.
Right?
But,
because I'm a troublemaker.
Right.
Are we okay over there? Or
are we amazing
okay?
Stuff.
I hate when he makes faces, because then I make faces, because then I get fretful, and then you see me go.
Right.
And you're trying to talk all serious over there, and I'm over here going.
There's nothing serious.
Everything is exploding.
Right? I make everything is exploding.
But I
face.
do like that consternation face, like you may have just sharted, but you're not sure. It's like. It's like
it has
begun. It's like the show just started. No, it's too early.
All right, and with that, what types of art do you create other than random stories of
other stuff? I'm primarily a paper artist, paper installation. So, my degree is in print and paper from Columbus College of Art and Design, and then I have an associate's in book arts from studying at OSU. With the Logan Elm Press, kind of more like an apprenticeship there, which unfortunately is kind of on ice for right now because a very amazing man named Bob Tauber retired, and they just haven't been able to replace him. So hopefully one of these days they'll be able to unthaw that.
That was my phone flying through the air.
You guys are hilarious. It's like, should we just take a pause while you work out all the technical
No,
difficulties?
my stupid phone decided it wanted to update everything, which means it will not play back the Facebook video live for me to monitor it.
Oh, so you're flying blind, Matt
while
Swift.
He's over there
That's
working on
right.
that, thinking about things. Let's have cookies.
Cookies. I do not mind if
We're
I
all
just-
good. Everything's rolling. I just don't want to use the laptop to monitor things because then problems happen.
It's all right.
Problems happen.
These are pretty tasty.
I just lost my...
Like the mysterious looping audio that occasionally has happened on a few episodes.
You dropped your no-no horn. You better
Yep.
pick that back
and
up.
I just got chocolate all over my face.
All over your face. So, you were just a hot mess, Nikki Swift. I thought this is like grant funded. And I really. I came in, I took time out of my weekend to come in. I was told this was going to be a professional environment.
You know.
But instead,
You know half of the last guest.
Instead, I have gassy cohorts and I have sloppy hosts, and you're just throwing around no-no horns. Because apparently there are things like, no, you cannot say that. I will blow a horn at you.
That was your idea.
It was, regardless. Doesn't matter whose idea it was. I didn't expect it to be used on me. But,
all right. So, I'm going off topic for a second.
Oh, okay,
when
sure.
we get together, usually
Did
I
we
have
have
some
topics?
random, generally
Ish.
speaking.
There's like 7
yeah.
of them on the board. Yeah, go ahead.
Right.
Oh.
So when we get together, usually I have a rant of the day, right? So we were driving back from Kroger, and Matt said, morning shows, out of nowhere, because, because the radio had an ad for a morning show. And so my rant for the day was morning shows, how I hate them, because, like, you come in the middle of them, and they're laughing, and you don't know why they're laughing. And so usually I'm just agitated instead of having a good time along with them because I don't know what was funny.
Right.
And I missed half of the funny. So that was my rant for the day.
Gotcha.
Morning shows.
Gotcha.
And so as we're laughing...
Morning shows. What the hell is so funny?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I missed the joke. Now I'm not going to get anything for the next 3 hours. And I'm going to listen to you laughing. Randomly. At some, like, punchline I didn't get because I missed the first hour. Yeah. So that was my rant of the day. So now you got it.
Well, we're not. Yeah. To make that relevant for anybody was like, why does that tangent exist right now? Again, grant funded, professional. This why are we here?
To eat cookies.
We have all known each other for a long time at this point, and I do a little jig every time I get to be in person, catch one of Nikki's rants, like full blown and fresh. You know, I mean, it does because I'll get to hear about them, but I don't always get to witness them, and it's really a very, very, very entertaining thing. She gets really animated and flush, and she gets these little Tyrannosaurus arms going, like she's just like, what? You know, and
She does have great gestures.
Cracks me up. So every once in a while, she'd be like, you missed the rant today. And I'm like, oh, yeah, what was it today? And then, she'll fill me in. And it's part of catching up. And since we haven't hung out for a little while, we're catching up now, like slowly easing into this thing. So
did you want more professional? I'm wearing half my chocolate.
Right? Yeah, I was gonna say, do you want to just lick that off, or I mean, do you need a napkin? I mean, you are wearing art pants. You could just wipe them on your pants.
Wipe them on your pants. Man,
you've been
that feels
painting
gross.
all day, right? Well,
yeah, I smell like spray paint. So
that's right.
Maybe that's why we're off topic, because all the fumes.
You were huffing chalkboard paint in the backyard while I was waiting on you. Oh, funny.
Exactly. That's
Right.
what artists got to do.
Right.
So, did we completely go down the type of art you create path, or
Didn't even get started.
Yeah, I know. Keep going. Carry on.
It was like, please, dude, continue your glue sticker. So, before we go any farther, I just want to say, for the record, for anybody that was, watching at the beginning and I did not approve that photo. I was not asked about that photo. They just cherry-picked a photo out of my Facebook that I didn't even know was on there anymore. And because I am just like, it's just the worst, like, used car salesman, kind of creepy, just like, hey, how you doing type, I mean, like, I don't know. I'm going to have to, like, get rid of that photo now.
How you doing?
You're right, exactly. I'm like,
that's going to be my new ringtone.
There. So anyways, I would have chose a different photo that did not make me look quite so much like a mob, capo or something, Anyway, all right. Let's put these grant dollars to work. So you had asked me about the art that I create. Yeah. Primarily, I am a paper maker, and I'm an educator, and so my main focus is creating paper. My partner, Kimberly Mullet, who is also a mixed media artist, we just recently bought a house. Actually, Friday, 4/20, was the 1-year anniversary of the closing on our house, so we're kind of stoked about that. And during the last year, we've worked really hard to get rid of all of our commercial studios and convert this house to like about 80% studio space, which was the reason that we bought a house, much like you guys. I mean, like, you bought a house much bigger than what two people really need, with the intention of converting the majority of it to working space. And so that's what we did. And so paper making is really fun. It's very meditative. It's got a lot of historical and cultural depth to it. It's very, very versatile. I tend to do a lot of sculptural installations, like I said, working with very obscure Asian-based fibers, and then creating these very, very thin cocoon-type nebulous kind of structures and shapes, and then coating them and manipulating them with different kinds of epoxy to kind of give them an even more kind of nebulous and alien feel to them, with the idea of, you really don't know what they are or what they're supposed to be, and creating that sense of kind of like surreal mystery is part of the fun for me. It's like, if any of you were to go to my Facebook page, you'll see plenty of pictures. You'll see collaborations between Matt Swift and I, with some of his video art and the paper installations that I've done, and you'll also see, some of the. Actually, my main profile picture is one of the last sculptures that I did. And it's just the sort of thing that it's fun. It's just like, if you were to encounter this thing out in the world, like floating in the water, you would be like, oh my God, what is that? It's like, ooh, I don't know if I should get close to that or not. It's like, that looks really cool. Is it going to kill me? It's just creating these mysterious kind of fun, nebulous things that people just don't suspect it to be paper, and that's part of what really makes it fun and intriguing for me, is taking something that is considered such a mainstream commercial, like no thought given about it at all, daily commodity, and then all of a sudden taking it so far out of its mainstream definition that people are like, wait, that's not paper. That's not what paper does. That's not what paper looks like. Paper's what I put through the computer printer and wipe my butt with. That is not paper. So it's fun. It's fun. So that is, and then, I do bookbinding. I do printmaking. I do book conservation. I do a lot of book repair and rescue. Just recently I did a Bible from 1871, something like that. Old, really old, from the late 1800s. Yeah, so pictures of that on my Facebook too as well. Because I don't have a slideshow here or anything. I'd be like, hey, this is what this is.
They'll get posted. I mean, if he can find them.
Oh, okay,
they'll
cool.
Get posted in the comments.
All right, there we go.
So,
cool, right on. Yeah, they're quick to find. They're not too far down the page, I don't think.
In other words, stalk Daniel.
What?
On Facebook.
Oh yeah, so sure, whatever. Well, it's a public profile for a reason. The whole reason of making it public with as little personal information on there as possible is because it's meant to be like a main marketing page, So yeah, that is the types of art that I create. I like taking raw plants and obliterating them, and then doing fun things with that. Pulp, literally beating things to pulp on a daily basis.
Okay.
Right? I don't know what else to say about it.
All right. So what are some of your inspirations?
Oh, that's tricky, because I draw a lot of inspiration from my environment, and just as far as shapes that intrigue me, lighting situations that intrigue me, things that have a lot of reflections and shadows, and the intricate interplay of that. So if anybody's ever seen one of my installations, or if you see a photo of the installation, if you look really closely, a lot of the sculptures that I'm creating are suspended on these on laser, like really thick laser cut crystal clear acrylic, and then that acrylic then acts as both a conduit for transparency and casting shadow, as well as a mirrored surface at times. So you have this piece that you're engaging, but then as you pay attention to it, like, it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper, because I like to try to light them in such a way that the shadows get fairly dramatic and overlapped, and so you'll have all of these layers of transparency that are building up in the environment around the sculpture, just as much as the layers of transparency in the sculpture itself is also being, built and created. And so, I mean, if I'm able to pull it off and it gets installed correctly, you really kind of end up with this very ethereal, nebulous kind of thing, because I really enjoy working with the crystal clear acrylic, because then if you catch the piece from across the room, it literally looks like it's just floating in air and just being kind of suspended there, like that is its environment, like you've stumbled upon something like in its environment, and then as you get closer, then you start to see the structure of it, and then you start to see the play of the shadows and how all those all bounce back and forth and create that level of sophistication and intricacy. So, and they're all different. Sometimes I'm really able to pull it off, and other times it's tricky. It's the problem with my work is that it's large. Like the last piece that I did. I mean, it's like if I was to get the level of real estate that I really wanted to have, I would have like a 4-foot by 8-foot or a 5-foot by 8-foot stretch of wall, because the piece itself was 3 foot wide in total, by 5 foot tall, and it came out from the wall 3 feet. But then by time I get the drama and the intricacy of the lighting set, I'm easily taking up a total of 8-9 feet, and it's really, really hard to get a gallery or another space to give you that much real estate on their wall for a piece that is not super salable, And coming from the gallery administration background that I am in, I completely get that. I completely understand that, it's a lot of real estate to give to somebody, for a piece that is probably not going to sell. So that's why I have, found myself showing these pieces in more, group show type situations where it's more exhibition based and less commerce driven. So I don't know, but with the work that I'm working on now, like as we get our studios streamlined and as we get things kind of set at the house to launch all the new projects that we're working on, I'm going to start working on scale, to have things that have the same look and feel to them, but that also when they're just easier to access. It'll be something that maybe the entirety of it lit will take up more of like a medium-sized painting, like 2 foot by 3 foot or 18 by 24. What happened?
He just looked at us.
Yeah.
And went.
Oh, a very dramatic, slow.
Yes, and I couldn't help but laugh.
Okay.
It was kind of mean.
I finally got caught up, and I figured I should turn and acknowledge that I wasn't like knee deep in the computer anymore.
Right.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I'll just throw things at you. What?
It's okay.
What are you wanting back from me?
Cookies.
Oh, cookies.
I think he wants a cookie.
I'm not sharing.
It's more magic cookie time.
Give the man a cookie.
He is working hard on my behalf. Anyone else want more cookies? More cookies.
I'm
more
good
cookies.
for the moment, thank you.
These ones have both sea salt and cayenne pepper.
That is true. I did taste that cayenne. I'm still feeling the burn.
Matt's trying to kill you.
Feeling the burn. I don't know. I'm all right. I'm all right for the moment. I'm all right for the moment. So, yeah, that was an okay transition. I mean, I was pretty much wrapping up that statement anyways. So, yeah, we've got, and a lot of, going back to where that started with inspirations is there's not a lot of people, doing stuff with fiber locally. I'm not trying to say that there isn't anybody doing it locally. There are a handful of artists that are very prolific, and many of them have been mentors to me, and they've been doing it a lot longer than me. And their stuff is just amazing. But there's not a whole lot of people that are doing stuff with paper, specifically, and as far as I know, and, anybody out there, feel free to correct me, because, I have been kind of like in my own little bubble for the last year or so, I'm not, I'm not saying that this is correct or not correct, but to my knowledge, as of this moment, I don't think that there's any other paper studios active in Columbus, because even when I started, even whenever I, got mine up and running and started, there was Logan Elm, and there was, which is now on ice, and then there was the Paper Studio at CCAD, and it is now on ice. It's been on ice for years. And so, and it takes a studio. I mean, it takes special equipment, and that was the tricky thing about my media of choice, whether it be paper making or print making. Kind of like, ceramicists and sculptors and other people of that ilk. You can't just graduate from college and then just start making art, in your garage or your living room or wherever. We have to have equipment. We have to have studio. You need to have stuff, and you need to have room, and you need to have utilities, and you need to have places to make that stuff work. And so it's so yeah. I mean, I don't think that there's any other paper houses in Columbus that are working right now. And if they are, then great. That's it would, but I don't think that there are. Now there are print houses. There are places that are doing printmaking, but as far as I know, I think that Cbus Studios is the only active paper mill in the city. So, and that's part of where we're also going in the future. As far as making that more accessible and more known to the public.
So you brought me to a little side question. So you call your studios Cbus Studios.
Yes.
And that has been a question previously, and I answered it for McCole, I think, but I don't know if I answered it right. So would you tell our audience where Cbus comes from? It
is an alias. It is an alias, and because and my parents don't watch this shit, so I can tell this story, and it's fun. My dad was a very, very still is, maybe, I don't know. He was a very proficient and prolific pool player. I wouldn't go so far as to call him a hustler, because I don't want to get in trouble. It's like, but the man could shoot some stick, and so he's also a very young man. My parents started their family when they were really young. As a matter of fact, I turn 40 next week, and my dad turns 60 in June. So he's so while. Oh God, yeah. It blows my mind sometimes to think that I am the age now that my dad was whenever I was a junior at CCAD, and it makes me. It's like, I'm like, Jesus, man. It's like I couldn't even imagine having. And I know there's a lot of people out there that have kids that are my age, that have kids that age, and God bless you, that's fine. But for me, I couldn't imagine having a 20-year-old, like right now, like with I feel like I've just barely figured out how to be an adult. But, having kids makes you grow up fast, I guess. But, so maybe that's part of my problem. Maybe I should have had some kids earlier in my life. Maybe I would have made better life choices. I don't know. But anyways, we would go out. We would go out, and we would, like, Dad would come to Columbus sometimes, or I would, or we would go out somewhere else. And if we went somewhere playing pool, and we were trying to maybe make it a little more interesting, Kobenik became our last name while we were in that particular establishment. So whenever it came time to name the business, it was just a no-brainer. It's like the first time I showed my dad the business cards, he just laughed his ass off. He's just like, "That's funny," and I'm like, So yeah, well, because for us it was just like it was kind of like a good luck thing, It's like we never caused too much trouble, and we never really got into any trouble. But it was kind of fun to just have that kind of like safety buffer there between you and whoever else you may be making it interesting with. So, yeah.
Do we have any questions?
Nope.
All right.
No questions at this point, but you did get the story right.
Sorta.
Sorta. Yeah. So
I said it was your name for Hustling Pool.
Oh, well, it was a joint.
Oh, there we go.
Joint.
So I was mostly right.
It was a joint. It was because we would make it known that we were a father-son thing there hanging out, so. But yeah.
All right. Do you have any recent or upcoming shows?
Nothing on the deck yet. Because we're still in transition. Because after CS closed, then we transitioned to Millworks. And then after being at Millworks for a couple years, then we, like I said, we bought this house a year ago, and like the studio, I just got the studio put together in its like barest, rawest launch form back in October for the COS tour, like the Columbus Open Studio and Stage Tour. So I was able to kind of pull it all together for that. But there was still a lot of tweaking and whatnot to do before we could go into full production, And then there were some things that came up over the holidays and over the winter that kind of forced Kim and I to put our studio goals on the back burner while we dealt with some family issues. And so, but that's all starting to kind of mellow itself out now at this point, and we're back on track to get the studios wrapped back up. And because it had been my intention rather, to have new work by this point and be shopping around for shows in the fall, but life just doesn't always shake out that way, but I we do have like I said, we do have a lot of stuff in the works, so that hopefully by the end of this year, we'll be able to get some stuff going for 2019. So excited about that. I was gonna enter the OSU show, but I've like the pieces that I have on tap, I've already shown. I was actually talking to another colleague about this because he asked me if I was going to jury into the OSU show, and I'm like, I don't have time to make anything new for that by time the deadline. No, not OSU. I'm sorry, the Ohio State Fair show. The Ohio State Fair show, because the deadline for that I think was like April. No, it's in May or April 25th. I don't know. May. I don't know. I forget.
They cut the film program. Huh? They cut the film part of it.
Oh, so you guys didn't pay attention?
No.
Yeah, gotcha. Right, yeah. Well, if it doesn't apply to your media, then
the Swifts are kind of taking credit for that.
That's right.
We're troublemakers.
That's right.
It's all my fault, specifically.
You caused so much.
So everybody watching out there that's a filmmaker, if you want to submit to Ohio State Fair, you can blame me for ruining that for everyone.
Or at least that's what we're telling ourselves at night, so we feel good.
Okay.
It's our fault. We ruin everything.
We
ruiners.
Ruin everything.
Everything.
That's why we can't
all the things.
This is why we can't have nice things, Nikki.
I know, because the Swifts.
Yeah. Is anybody watching? Okay,
they're just quiet.
That's okay.
Or is Kim fielding all the questions? Kim is fielding all the questions for us.
That's right.
Found some good photos of you.
Oh, no.
A year or two ago.
Nay, madam. Nay. You will keep those to yourself.
Too late.
Son of a bitch.
The interwebs are all aflutter.
Deadline to enter for the Ohio State Fair's Fine Arts Competition is May 30th.
May 30th. Okay. Good.
Entries delivered on June 15th.
Yeah.
I may submit something.
Yeah, go for it, dude. You do a lot of really nice visual art beyond the film stuff.
I've got these these pieces I just hung for that show. They're just sitting somewhere.
Might as well do something with them. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I just because the stuff that I have on tap, I've already gotten like one big show out of the one piece, and Well, I mean, both of them have already been hung in like 2 really, really high-profile shows, and so I don't feel comfortable showing them again, because it's just, that's just not what you want to do. You don't want to put yourself out there as like, a one note, person or a one-piece artist. I mean, especially if it's, a year later, because what it was, because it would be damn near a year. Because August is when the show is, and August is when the state fair show is, and the COS show, which had the last piece that I did in the main branch library downtown, that was in September. So yeah, I mean, it's like you're going to show this the like the only piece you have on tap is the piece that you made a year ago. You can't do that. Well, you can, but it's not a good idea. It's not. I wouldn't recommend it.
So we have some listeners that have all chimed in and said, "Hey, we're listening and watching. We're just not very good with coming up with questions and stuff. So
that's fine.
Just keep it rolling. Thanks
fine.
Everybody for tuning in."
It was more of a curiosity question because I'm flying blind here. I can't see anything. Like I don't know.
Yeah, my screen is off.
Yeah, I don't have the. Because whenever I'm watching these at home, like all of you know, when you're watching it at home, you can see everybody kind of pop up and chime in. You can see who all's there. So, I was just curious.
And people don't like it when I stare at my screen because then I'm not paying attention to the.
You're so rude. I was expecting professional behavior from a grant-based basement, independent.
You are driving this home. We're in a basement, man.
We're in a basement. I am in.
This is Wayne's World.
I am in a tech dungeon. No, this is worse.
There is a brick wall behind you.
There is.
This is worse than Wayne's World?
Huh?
Dude.
What?
Dude.
What?
They had an old couch.
Yeah, it was an awesome old couch.
You wanting me to get an awesome old couch?
Because it's your show. I don't give a shit. It's like I'm here for one day. It's like you've got to do a whole bunch of these.
There is a proposition for Simon's sofa.
I would not want to. Dude, those steps are treacherous on a regular laundry day. Like I would not carry a couch down those. That's insane.
We were interested in doing like the Columbus Open Studio Stage, but I'm like, no one we couldn't have anybody down here. We'd have to take everything upstairs and like set it up
and then
or
it's not
something.
The same.
That would just be crazy.
Yeah. I think we should just put a ramp in and let them roll down.
We just slide.
Exactly.
Here's your piece of cardboard.
Jumbo slide. Don't hit.
Here's your piece of cardboard. Do you see that X right there? That's where the pillow is. Aim for that.
Good luck getting back up.
Yep.
Sorry. We weren't thinking
about
it.
Yeah, dude, that is some treachery right there.
Those are awesome compared to our old place.
Yeah, and there is like less than 2 feet from the wall to the bottom. Dude, if you took a header down there, you're gonna die. It's like.
But dude, that is still better than the place we were living, where the stairs were kind of like
right.
Whoop, and at the bottom you had like less than a foot between the chimney and so you just prayed that you didn't fall.
I'm just saying this steps
you
are
prayed
taking
to God,
all the fun out of catching a buzz and doing laundry, is all I'm saying. It's just like,
After being there for like 11 years at that house, the last year we were there, I was trying to get this really old, like 8mm film digitizer down the steps, and I dropped it at the top of the steps. It hit my foot, it bounced, and then it smashed against the chimney wall and just went everywhere. I was like, whoa.
Honestly, when I went to move, I thought I'd save it and then dropped it back down the stairs. It was like, that thing was not meant to live.
Yeah.
It was not meant to live. The Swifts were hard on that thing.
It's funny.
There are other things that got dropped down steps. Like, I was so tired when I moved into this place that I dropped a dresser of mats down the steps and just stared at it for 5 minutes like, oh, huh.
Well, shit, that just happened.
That happened. Well, I'm sorry. Oops.
It's funny.
Life. All right. So, new work. Ideas, plans, thoughts.
Yeah. No.
Mummifying another human. I don't know.
Yeah. That's more. That's
Yeah, your mom's on.
what?
Aw.
That
She's
is,
so cool.
man.
Now you have to be nice and kind.
Hello, Daniel's mom. Thanks for watching.
All right, crap. Well,
Kim, he's gonna need the box of wine now.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go get that. You are. No, new work. We collectively, because I mean, a lot of what I'm doing right now, I'm doing in tandem with Kim. So we have a couple things jointly that we're partnering on that are still in the planning stages. I mean, I do have models built, and I've got, because I mean, a lot of what I do to work out the tech issues, and then also the design and the shape and everything else is I'll build like little scale models, to try to get a feel for, do I like the way that this particular shape is behaving within this pseudo environment that I'm building, because you kind of have to do that, or rather, I've learned over the years that it's really better to just take the extra effort and create these little 3D sketches. Because otherwise, it takes so much time and material and work to build the casting molds that if you just fly by the seat of your pants on some of these things, I mean, like, you can waste, a month and a couple $100, making all of these prep structures, and then once the shapes start coming out of the casting, if it's not working, then you've got, I mean, like, you have to figure it out, and at that point, it's harder to figure it out, so I've got sketches in the works. I've been doing a lot of writing, a lot of conceptualization, going back to what you were saying about inspirations, like, I like to create these kind of environments that, I like to think of them as kind of like creating a feeling of, because for me, not to get too, like, I don't know, like hippy dippy about it or anything, but beyond just the,
We have lost all control here.
Why?
I just got hit in the head with Tushy.
Where's your no-no horn? Where's your no-no horn?
I just got hit in the head. So
that's fine.
We joked last.
I had a good flow going, but that's fine. Why don't you literally just shit paper all over the house of my story in this professional, grant-funded video dungeon that I was invited to on my own time with zero compensation.
We do call food.
Zero
food,
compensation.
Food.
Did you see the size
So
of the
much
plate
food.
of the nachos?
All right, fine.
Mine was very large as well, but
So much food.
I did.
All right, compensation.
Right.
Now, granted, we do call the studio the dungeon, so I will give you that. Because someday, soon, it won't look like this.
It'll be fine.
So there'll be an irony to it.
Okay.
Maybe.
Fair enough. Sure.
Maybe.
Right.
And it's less of a dungeon than it was when we moved in. Wood panels.
I remember. I saw pictures.
Mm-hmm. All right, continue.
your mom has apologized for embarrassing you.
Oh. Really?
I think she's the least of your worries now.
I'm pretty. It was. I don't even know how to respond to that. It's all right, Ma. Relax. It's fine. Thank you for joining us. I'm zero embarrassed, but now, like, if I didn't already have this need to really kind of keep the professional filter on, so I'm not like accidentally like, talking about fornicating midgets or F-bombs, So now my mom is here, so I've really got to just, tighten it up.
Daniel's being good.
I am being good.
A lot better than some of our guests. A lot of our guests. Daniel's keeping it together.
That's right. There we go.
That is why he's giving us a hard time. About professionalism.
Oh, I don't care about that either. It just makes it, I rarely get to be the straight man, so this is fun for me.
Well, the best part is Matt's the one that is being immature here.
Right, yeah. So he's like,
off camera.
Whatever. Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Well,
it is tushy.
She's doing it me first.
Just
bamboo.
Just for
awesomeness.
This just gives you a whole week. This just gives you a whole week to just plot your revenge for tea time.
I don't think I need to get my revenge for tea time because there will be Long Island iced teas and hot toddies.
Oh, you are doing a hot toddy one.
And people will be invited to come after tea time is over.
We will have a professional mixologist.
Really?
What did he say he was? What was he calling himself?
I don't know. Hey, Sean, you're out there. You're watching. What were you calling yourself?
Some sort of barista bartender mix.
Barista bartender mix.
Yes, because
him and Danny are too busy talking about how they're going to help us redesign our studio to look like a 1970s Johnny Carson.
Oh,
with, like,
God.
Gold velour drapes.
There we
well,
go.
it would be better if we got rid of the red velour curtains. The whore curtains. That's what I call them.
Those are my ideas. She didn't like them.
Yeah.
They
I like
weren't
it just fine.
good backdrop.
It compliments Kim.
Oh, dude.
What? I didn't mean... Really? I didn't mean it that way. She knows what I meant. Have you seen the way this woman decorates? It's like she knows exactly what I meant.
Sean is the master bartenderista.
Bartenderista.
Sweet.
That is the douchiest thing I have heard in a long time.
Dude, he will fuck you up. Oh, I'm the one that dropped an F-bomb. I'm the one.
I am sure that he is amazing at what he does, and he may not have coined the phrase, and it's
no, he
just,
did.
he coined the phrase.
In our presence at the last tea time.
That just, I don't know.
I'm the one that...
Danny remembered what
I'm
it was.
grounded. I'm totally grounded. Kim can take over from here because I just...
Right.
I've lost it. It fell off in the first few minutes.
The no-no horn.
I can't blow a no-no horn against myself.
She can't no-no herself.
Sean has decreed that we need fancy clothes
Oh,
for Long Island
no.
Sunday.
That's
I have
right.
to wear my prom dress.
That's right. We should treat it like, our own version of of Derby Day, Everybody shows up in their Derby attire, Instead of mint juleps, we have a bunch of hot toddies and Long Island iced teas. That's it. That's it.
This is going to be the worst birthday
fancy
ever.
hats.
We are not getting out of bed the next day. One of us has to be competent.
It's my birthday.
What day is the 30th?
Monday.
One of us has to be competent on Monday.
Well, technically it's your work, so you're the only one that has to be competent.
Exactly.
Right.
One of us.
Right.
It'll be me.
Yeah. No one ever said I could hang stuff straight. I'm a video artist.
Right?
Straight things.
Even the monitor's crooked.
I know. Well, that was my monitor, and I don't know what's wrong with it.
It's your
Right?
monitor.
It was my monitor, so
Right.
of course it's crooked.
Right.
But I couldn't get it to straighten out. I don't know what's wrong.
It's called $15 monitor arm for mono price.
Yeah,
And
but
it
yours
just-
was straight.
I don't know. It's
Yours
lemon.
was straight.
Yeah.
I just,
We've gone down weird paths.
it's doing the job.
It is
fine.
doing its job.
It's doing its
We have
job.
another one we're hoping to mount soon. Oh, Daniel. Yeah, so
I don't even know where.
we've spiraled.
Yeah.
I
Like you totally sabotaged me.
Tushy.
You two
Tushy,
clowns.
Tushy
You two-
sabotaged you. Because
You two,
we were going to say that.
Right.
This
this
this episode is
this
brought to
episode is brought to you, but usually
Tushy.
the sponsor intermission, happens during a reasonable transition point. So,
Nope,
right.
not here.
All right. Gotcha.
I think we're going for Space Ghost style interviewing now,
Sure.
where
Space Ghost style.
Space goes coast to coast.
Space Ghost coast to coast. For
We
any
do
of,
have a plan for that.
for
Oh,
any of
God.
you kids who do not know what that is, you need to look it up
Go learn
immediately.
right now.
Immediately. You can do a split window. You can minimize this, move it off to the side.
This is unimportant. You can
Go
come back to this.
find
Space Ghost is
Space Ghost.
important. Important.
Yes, it is
Very
going
important.
to change your life
Mhm.
in all the right ways. That's right. That's right.
Oh, us children of the 90s.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Back when Adult Swim had cartoons.
Right.
Shenanigans.
They still have some. Not a lot. Some.
Cartoon Network. MTV equals music television,
Right.
not road rolls.
Right.
Cartoon Network equals cartoons,
Right.
not real life.
Yep.
Okay, second rant of the day. All right, without swearing, what is the worst thing you have said or done at an art show?
Dude, I still don't know. I mean,
You still
it's
don't know?
like it's
You've
been.
had an hour.
I don't. I think
I know
that
what I've done.
probably, I think I probably blocked them out. I mean, I think, you know what? I think, this is what it was. This is probably. I don't know if it's necessarily. I don't know if it's the worst thing, but it's definitely the most unprofessional thing that I've ever done, and it was very embarrassing for me the next day because I just dropped the ball on doing my job as the owner at the gallery. But in my defense, it was oh god, it was one of the really big anniversary shows. I want to say it was maybe the 3-year or the 4-year, because I mean at CS we would always try to come up with these really fun concepts, and then we would just have these mega blowouts, like these huge mega blowouts. Oh, I know what it was. It was the third one, because that was the year of the crash, because we were so stressed out about that car crash hitting the gallery right at the beginning of March. And we had less than 30 days to get the gallery back online before the big anniversary gala, which was always our biggest show of the year. And so we pulled it off. We got it. But that one happened to coincide exactly on my birthday. And so it was like the Saturday night of my birthday, and there was this huge thing, and I partially blame it on other people who brought entirely too much scotch, and so I started drinking in entirely too much.
Was that
way too early.
Was that the whiskey birthday?
That was
that
Honey
37? 37?
That might have been the whiskey birthday, yeah.
Yeah, so that was when I brought 7 different bottles of
You
whiskey.
brought 7
honey
different
whiskey.
Was
bottles
that
of-
honey whiskey
you-
birthday? Oh, God.
You brought 7 different bottles of whiskey. Somebody else literally bought one of the like the 2-gallon fucking magnums of, darn it. They brought one of the two like gallon magnums of Macallan, you know, one of those like $150. I mean, like, why? I'm like, who does this? Who does this? To somebody who has
But
to
I'm going to
run a-
partake.
Oh God, it was horrible. I tell you what, the band. Thank God I paid all the musicians at the beginning of the evening. Like, everybody came in and I paid them all up front. Thank you for being here. Do your thing. Have a good time. Because, like, the headliner band that I had booked that was supposed to go on at 11, because this thing was slated to go until midnight, 1 o'clock, whatever. I mean, it started around 8, and by 10:30, I was done. Like, I had gone outside for fresh air, and for any of you that know me, you know that I've got this terrible old hillbilly truck that I was that would be at the gallery. They found me. They went looking for me. They found me laying in the back of my truck, just out, just done. And it's just, and it was horrible. I felt so bad the next day, because then everybody else, I mean, thank God I had a very, very, very competent staff, because everybody else had to like scramble to make sure that the art sales were happening, to make sure that the musicians were in and out okay, to make sure that the management of everything else of the show was going smoothly, because I hit it a little too hard. I mean, I hadn't eaten enough, you know, not that that's an excuse, you know, it's like, but still.
No, you got to plan for these binges.
What, right. You know, it was truly by accident, because if anybody else who knows me well knows that I just throw myself into social situations and I'm just talking and social butterflying. And like in the entire time I was circulating the room and doing stuff, I just constantly had scotch on the rocks in my hand, because people just kept handing them to me. It was just like, oh, you're empty, have another one. And I wasn't even paying attention, because I was just talking to customers, talking to people, talking, selling the artwork, doing stuff. Next thing I know, I'm just like, oh. It's just like somebody is like, yeah, you're drunk. Oh crap, I'm really drunk. And so that was definitely, I would say, the worst thing professionally that I've ever done. I really dropped the ball on that one. I had a lot of apologies to make the next day. I mean, from the patrons' point of view, and also a lot of the artists, you know, it really kind of went off without a hitch, you know. I mean, sales were made.
It was a pretty smashing party.
It was an amazing show.
Wall.
You know, I mean, like, the only thing that really upset me was that I paid all this money for musicians that I never got to see, because my dumb ass passed out in the parking lot. So it's like what?
Daniel's curse total in this story too.
Well, dumbass doesn't count. Or does it?
I don't know. Without swearing.
It does, without
Arse.
swearing.
Arse.
Arse.
I keep making bad
Yes.
jokes about arse.
Right.
Sam, if you're watching,
There's a company in town whose initials are
stand for arse.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep
So-
saying I don't want to be an arse.
Well, I'm thinking if I made it all the way through that story and I only had 1, that's a pretty low score.
Yeah.
So I did all right. I was shooting for 0, but oh well.
So the worst thing, if I haven't told this, I don't know if I have, the worst thing I've ever done is I walked into a gallery, and this is pre-art history, this is like, getting my bachelor's, whatever, and we go to gallery hop, and I walk into a gallery, and I see dots on the wall, and I go, what the hell is this? This could be done with bingo dots, and walk out. I was just so agitated with the crowds and the people and the like atmosphere that I did that and then walked out. This is like over almost 20 years ago, so yeah. Ugh. That's the worst thing I've done.
So the worst thing you've ever done was just
at an opening.
Just make an uneducated snap judgment at an opening?
Yeah.
I think you're doing okay.
Or at least as far as I know. Nobody's told me, Nikki, you are completely inappropriate. Calm down. At an opening.
I don't know. I would disagree. There is one other instance, at least, that I can think of that was slightly worse than that.
I don't remember telling anyone off at an opening. At an opening.
I don't think I actually want to say what you
that was
you
you know
did, because
that
then
was
it's out there and it's the people can watch it, and no.
Well, I do remember at CS Gallery, like, being intimidated by a lot of people and hiding behind the bar with the other people. Like, I like the bar as safety. The bar was safety.
The bar was the safety zone for a lot of people. You know, like for those for those of you who never got a chance to go to CS or be at CS, I mean, it was a lot of fun. The way that we had it laid out was we basically had almost an entire block's length of space, and it started at the front with about 1,500 square feet of just wide open gallery space, and then it transitioned to a smaller central space that was about 600 square feet, and that was a sub gallery that we reserved for solo shows, because it was mostly group shows that happened in the front. And then in that central space, I had installed a bar for hospitality, because it just made more sense. You know, I mean, it encouraged traffic flow. People could come back and forth. I was able to give better customer service and a more professional presentation, and also it was easier to keep track of the booze that way too, because I had somebody behind there tending the bar. So then that way, you know, like if we were running low on something, you know, it didn't sneak up on us, you know. And also, you know, we still have a really good working relationship with Elevator Brewery, and so we had a kegerator back there, you know, to where we would have like a full keg of beer on standby, which to this day I say is probably the best and worst decision that I ever made as far as running that place, because everybody who was in the inner circle of friends, I mean, like, we would just hang out all the time, and there was just beer on tap. But
Look how young you look.
Oh yeah, that's Jazzy behind the bar. Yeah, that's Jazzy behind the bar. So Jazzy tended to be my bartender, and then Simon, who was on last week, his daughter Ilya, she would come and help me run the shows as well once she got old enough. She never handled the booze or anything because she was underage, but she would come and she would help me make the food and do the hospitality. Yeah. She would help run promotional stuff, take pictures, just all that kind of fun stuff.
Which she credits you for now, because she just had a show of her own, and she brought a spread of food and said that's where she learned it.
Yep. She was a quick study. She was a good kid.
She made your like spinach, artichoke, like little puff pastry things.
Oh yeah, those were always really popular.
Good.
Those are always really popular.
Yep.
Yeah. I paid my way through CCAD as a professional cook. So I've spent just as much time in the kitchen as I have in the art studio. So that was a huge boon whenever it came time to do something like run an art gallery, because I was able to put on a spread that, you know, catered, would cost you hundreds and hundreds of dollars for like $50, $75 food cost, you know. So You go buy all the food, just, throw it together, in the prep area of the gallery, get it all set up, and it's good to go, So we always spent more money on booze than we did food. But that was part of what we did. It's like there was an entry fee to get in. Like it was $15, but for that $15, you could show up to 5 pieces, but you were guaranteed at least one. Again, part of our mentoring program. And for anybody that bothered to come to a show, if you stayed for an hour, you got your $15 back like immediately. You know what I mean? Like between what we spent on booze and food and advertising. We did it right, and we prided ourselves on doing it right. I mean, like, you weren't going to spend $15, and then show up to PBR and pretzels. That's not how we rolled. So it was a good time. A lot of good shows.
Cool.
Anything else you want to talk about or add, or we have a quiet audience today? What's wrong with our audience?
That's okay.
Oh, they're getting over Friday.
What was Friday?
What was Friday?
Oh no, dude, that was 2 days ago. It doesn't stick with you that long.
You don't know.
I mean, it's also like a really nice day out today.
It's a really nice day out.
And so people are probably still hanging out and doing stuff. So, it's what it is. And then the people who are watching, they kind of either already know Daniel or they don't know a whole lot about paper and other arts. And so they kind of don't know what to ask.
Right.
So,
well, I mean, that actually gives me the last thing that I was going to talk about was that the one big project that I have in the works, hopefully to be launched by the fall, going back to, again, I'm not trying to speak out of turn or get cocky. I do not believe that there is another paper house in Columbus. I do not believe that there is another artist or another studio with the equipment to make handmade paper to where they are doing it on a regular basis, on a daily basis as part of what they do as an art studio. And one of the big goals for this transition into our house and doing all these customized spaces and everything is that I'm going to be launching another leg of Kobenick Studios that's going to be called Local Line Papers, and basically it's going to be a business that is catered specifically to offering art papers to local artists for comparable big box prices, So like I, as a paper maker, want to compete with Utrecht and compete with Dick Blick and not only compete with them, but offer you customization options that you wouldn't normally have. Like if you have if you're a watercolorist or a printmaker or a draftsman and you have a specific a body of work or something that you're trying to do, then I can collaborate with you to create a paper that is customized for what you are trying to do for the same price as what you would pay to buy it from a big box store. And the other thing too is that because it's customized, if you are working in a smaller format, we can price it and build it. Like, let's say that everything that you're doing is 11 by 17. Well, instead of being forced to buy sheets that are 20 by 30, and then you have to, rip them down, and then you have the scrap and you have the waste, I can make you X amount of 11 by 17s, and then there's zero waste. Every bit of your dollar goes into purely usable material. And like, let's say that you want it to be a custom size, like you want to be able to have a little bit of room to have a border, to tape it off, to have a border, or be able to rip it down a little bit, but still not have to have all of that extra waste paper from a 20 by 30, then I can make you something that's like, 12 by 18 or something like that, but that sort of customization is and attention to detail and offering is what we're going to be rolling into. And then we're also going to have like different kind of incentive programs. Like one of the things that I was kicking around with my studio manager was, let's say that you have already been doing commercial papers for a while, or you have commercial papers in stock and you're going to use that up, you have to tear it down. If you bring us your fine art paper scraps, then, we would give you a discount. Like, let's say you bring me a bag of your ripped down art papers, then I'll give you like 10% off of your order, and then we will then take all of those scraps and turn it into more paper, So you're able to recycle into the future product, and you'll get a discount on whatever paper you get. So, and I've been doing this for 20 years, and for anybody who's ever purchased any of my books or ever used any of my paper, I mean, it's good stuff. We've been working on the recipes for a long time, so.
Matt, some of his flowers are right up on top. I don't know where the paper is, though.
What? To the who?
Oh.
What?
So he could give you a sample of stuff made from your studios.
We can talk about that.
Oh, yeah. So during our 15-year anniversary, mine and Matt's, I haven't known Daniel that long yet.
No, I think
Yeah.
It was 2011? 2011 that we met?
So, I think
2010, 2011.
Yeah, something like that.
2011.
Yeah. So, Matt and I asked Daniel if we could make a piece of paper because the 1-year anniversary is paper, and we had not done the traditional anniversaries. So, we started out our 15-year anniversary revisiting all the anniversaries. And so we went to Daniel, and we made this beautiful piece of paper.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That was fun.
And this, I think, has, I think it was made with your, one of your interns at the time.
Yeah. I think, because I think that when you guys came over, I was in the middle of intake for a show. So I gave you guys a quick demonstration, and then I turned you over to, I think Rachel. I think Rachel helped you guys make that.
There was a, I don't know, no, it was a younger dude.
I think he's my friend.
And,
Aaron.
And he was making
Aaron.
he was making a whole series of stuff using sweater fabric.
And he let
Yes,
us put
that's right.
sweater fabric in the
That's when
paper.
Aaron was with us, huh?
Yeah.
Whatever happened to him?
I don't know. I don't know if he's still in Ohio or not. I know that Kat and Aaron got engaged, and I'm assuming they're probably married by now, and they're around somewhere.
So, when Daniel talks about fibers, do you mean stuff you can put in the paper, or do you mean actual, like... Because I guess that would be a question by our audience, is you're talking about fibers that you're getting, so what are the fibers that you're referring
paper,
to?
all paper is plant-based. And depending on the plant of origin, you have different papers that are good for different things. Like a lot of your Asian printmaking papers are all bark-based papers from either mulberry or gompi or kozo. Excuse me. And then so we get all of those fibers. I mean, like the work, these sculptures that I'm making right now. I wrote a grant to GCAC. It was a supply grant, and I ordered kozo from Japan, and so I'm using that Japanese bark, which is the inner bark of the kozo tree, to make the sculptures that I'm making. That is the plant base of the paper that I am making to do these installation sculptures, and some of it's really expensive and some of it's not. I mean, like that kozo, like I think it was an $800. I mean, for an 80-pound bale of that bark, it cost $800. You know, but then like our standard stock papers are a 60-40 mixture, and again, this just kind of depends on what you're doing. I mean, like if you're wanting to go with 100% rag, we have rag. But I mean, like the recipe that I've developed over the years that makes just a beautiful, glorious, all-purpose a paper that will accept any wet or dry medium, and it's got just a nice medium fine tooth to it. It's a 60-40 mixture of cotton rag and abaca. Abaca being kind of like a Puerto Rican hemp. It's made from the leaves of these larger hemp plants and that come from Central America, and the rag, which is just basically recycled clothing, and the quality of rag that we get is the same quality of rag that they use for currency. So the same quality of cotton rag that they use to make paper money is the same rag that we're using. So I mean, it's the highest quality archival acid-free stuff that you can get. And when you mix those two together, like I said, it creates this just amazing paper that's got a little bit of a buff color to it, which is problematic for somebody who wants something that wants to be like crispy, bright white. So in that case, we would just use the pure cotton rag, because that's the only way that you're going to get those nice, really crispy, pure white papers. So
right next to you are some of the flowers that you made once upon a time. Not the...
Oh, these! Oh, I forgot about these. That's funny. Yeah. You know what? What these came from is I was at a studio sale, and, well, it wasn't a studio sale. What it was is, it was at it's not Denison. Is Denison the one that's out in Granville?
Yes.
Denison, okay. Denison College was downsizing a bunch of its departments, and one of the departments that they were downsizing was a bunch of their science labs. So I walked into this warehouse, and they just had pallets full of like flasks, beakers, and just tons and tons and tons of this glass tubing. So I picked a bunch of this tubing up, thinking that I would do something sculptural with it, and then not realizing until like later how hard it was to work with. I mean, it's just really, really freaking hard to work with. And so then I was just like, all right, well, what am I going to do with this now? So what I started doing then was I was teaching a lot of workshops at the time, and I still do them occasionally, where I'll either go to a festival, or I'll go to elementary schools, or I'll go wherever, and we'll do either these installation murals with pulp and pulp painting, or we'll do. And if anybody wants to see that stuff, I have a bunch of that stuff on Facebook as well. You can see some of the murals and stuff that we've done with kids and stuff. And then
Daniel.
What?
Stock Daniel.
Yeah,
Come
whichever.
back to that.
Yeah, sure, fine. And then, but we'd make these little mosaic tiles and stuff. But then there would always be, inevitably, pulp left over, and you can't leave that stuff laying around, because this is, at the end of the day, it is an organic, fiber, like plant material, that is constantly decomposing. Like from the day you get done doing what you're doing with it, like you need to use it up as quickly as possible, because you have just plant material floating in water that is just going to get funky, and usually within a matter of days. One of the worst smells I have ever encountered in my life was accidentally opening up a bucket of forgotten pulp that had been there for like 4 months in the middle of summer, and we did not know what was in it, and had forgotten what was in it, and we thought it was something else, and we had to leave the studio for like a couple hours because it was horrible. It was just the most noxious thing ever. But anyways, yeah, we would make tiles. We would make slabs. If any of you have ever done ceramics, it's the same idea as just rolling out a slab. So we would just form a slab of paper pulp and then just roll these stems up in the middle of it. And it was a great way to get rid of this tubing, and it was a great way to get rid of the extra pulp that we had laying around. And then we'd just take them to festivals and stuff and like just sell them for $1. Be like, here, paper flower, because sometimes you just got to have like little tchotchke for people to buy, because they dig what you do, but they can't afford like the really cool stuff, but they also want to support you, so you give them an entry window, I mean, like veteran festival owners will tell you that, the reason that we have prints, the reason that we have smalls, the reason that we have extra little things is because sometimes people really, really want to support you, but, they just can't afford $500 for the main stuff that you have on the wall, so let them spend $5 and feel good about themselves and help you pay your booth fee. Because that's really just what needs to happen sometimes. You just need to pay that booth fee. So, there we go.
We're out of questions. Anybody else have questions? I feel like I'm wearing half my food. Anyone else want a cookie? Another cookie?
I'll take another cookie.
Have another cookie. We can close the show with cookies.
Close the show with a cookie toast.
Oh. All right.
That was awkward.
So, what was awkward?
Huh?
The whole cookie
That
plate
whole-
thing. Yeah.
It's funny.
It is funny. Yeah.
All right. So, we have no questions.
It's okay. We don't have to have any questions.
We're out of question? Okay. So, the next tea time, which is Matt's show, is April 29th at 11:30, and we will be having Long Island iced teas and hot toddies brought to you by our own bartenderista.
Bartenderista. Dupree,
our own bartenderista. So, next Sunday at 11 o'clock.
Sunday.
And then
so here for that.
And then the next Cbus Creatives is May 6th, and I'm failing at my planning, so I do not know who will be on the show next. I have not.
if you want to be on the show next, message Nikki.
I actually think, can you pull up my feed, because someone messaged me and asked about their show, and I should say something about it to be polite. About a week ago. Oh, what was her name?
That's
Right?
hard.
I failed.
It's the end of the show. I guess
I have
it's
not
fart sound
responded. Yes, I have not
Kim,
responded
the
because
master of
I
raspberries.
was not in a place to respond at the time, and I forgot.
Her life's not complete if she hasn't raspberried at least twice a day.
Only twice.
Goals.
Goals.
All right. Let's see. Share
Messages.
Inbox.
Your
Shelley
federal
Brooks?
grant money at work, folks.
Right.
Shelley Brooks.
Shelley Brooks.
Shelley.
Celebrate.
Is having doing a mural in the month of May for a non-profit community garden. And then they're having a dedication of the mural on June 2nd. So, Shelley, what? There's whispering
There's
in the studio.
instigators. I was waiting for you to get through this part, which is important.
So, yes, congratulations on the mural, and please check it out. It is for people with disabilities and the homeless. It's on the southeast side, or the project is with Southeast. So I'm sorry. I will get back to you, but I am promoting you. So Yay. Awesome. I that's all I know.
Daniel, do you have any last minute stuff?
I mean, I'm good. I think that did not even come out right. What are you doing?
That's a trumpet.
It's just a trumpet.
No, I see what it is. I'm just saying, how could you fail so epically?
Because he's a baritone player.
So
It's a trumpet mouthpiece,
epically.
and the baritone's hidden under the table. It's too hard to
He
get out.
can't get his baritone out, and he can't play. So
That's the sound it makes.
that's where we're at.
Right.
Yeah. So
Could be worse.
we've gone off the rails completely. All right, so join us next week for tea time, and
The circus.
okay, we can be done now because the circus has begun, and
Yeah.
it's
The peanut
yeah.
gallery's restless.
the peanut gallery is restless.
Any of you that are watching this on Facebook, you saw the links and everything else. KobenickStudios.com. Keep an eye out for local line papers. Once we do the launch, we are not only going to be opening up the studio for artists who are interested in buying paper and getting local handmade papers for your professional needs, but we're also going to open the studio up for anybody who wants to, rent time to make their own papers as well. So, and again, as far as my knowledge goes, I do not believe that this exists anywhere else in Columbus. I mean, I'm not going to be so cocky as to say that I am the only game in town, but I'm pretty sure that I'm the only game in town.
So the peanut gallery has a question.
Oh, yeah.
No, the artists in schools.
Oh, and yeah, I guess I am. I mean, I know we're kind of crawling to the end of the school year now, but I am still in the Artists in Schools program through the Ohio Arts Alliance, Education Alliance. It's a really awkward acronym. Just look up Artists in Schools program, and it'll
Well, what
pop
do you
up.
do?
So, huh?
Talk about what you do.
Well, I already talked about that with the murals and the pulp and
Yeah,
making
when we brought
murals
up
and
the
doing
flower.
stuff. Yeah. So
I
The
was
live
paying
studio
attention.
audience does not think Daniel has gone into enough information on this topic.
Dude.
Not very thorough.
All right, so we I'm pretty sure I've covered what needs to be covered. I mean, it's just like we go into schools, we go into schools and we make really fun murals with the sculpted handmade paper pulp. Like one of the last ones that we did that was really, really successful and turned out absolutely beautiful was at Tremont Elementary in Upper Arlington. I'm really proud of that one. I think that one happened. I want to say that one happened in like November of 2015, maybe. It's. I mean, I don't know. If you care enough to dig back into a Facebook profile and you want to go look at the fall of 2015, then you can see the pics from those murals. I think they might just be in the photo album, though. I'm not sure. So, Danielle Poling was the art teacher there. She took a lot of really great photos, and she's a great art teacher herself as well. So, all right, that's good. That's all I got.
Does the audience want to add anything
I got the
else?
last official plug in. So
Anything else that we missed? Oh.
no, are
She's-
you just
we're being
are you
ignored.
just gonna
Oh.
are you guys just
All
gonna
right.
continue
I-
making fart noises on your phones? Just
All right, we're going to go on being professional. Oh, she's taking...
what?
Are we discoing the
The
way
show
out
is
here?
the show is being co-opted by the live studio audience. It's time to wrap it up and disco.
Right?
We had
All
a
right.
few members show up here at the last minute, so thanks for tuning in, Derek and Becky.
All right. Well, so we're gonna stop now before we go down bad
When did this
paths.
turn into a morning zoo show?
I-
Again,
right?
Grant.
Nikki
Grant Money
started the show with
at
her
work.
rant about how much she hates morning zoo shows.
Oh,
so,
there we
it's
go. So
self-referential.
now- that's
Everybody
right.
laughs.
Self-referential.
So now
But
she's
you
being
can see
tortured.
what I'm doing. You can see what I'm doing, and I get the whole reference. So everyone else is tortured. I know the laughter. I know what it's from. I know what we're laughing at. All right, so we're good. I think next tea time, April 29th at 11:30 a.m. Just to be clear, Yeah.
And for all of you aspiring potential like funding needs out there, apparently they will give you money for anything. This is
No. They cut off laptops.
Oh, did they?
They cut off laptops or computers, and what else did they cut off funding for?
I have the last official laptop from the GCA.
Again, Swift's ruined everything.
But so laptops, no.
Laptops, no.
But dungeon shenanigans, yes.
Yes.
You can get all of your dungeon shenanigans funded.
Just for the record,
just $500.
The only thing that GCAC bought was this little bitty box.
They don't
right here,
know.
And
well,
they
didn't know it was going to be
of that.
So they bought you half a little box.
We bought half a little box. We pay for the rest and everything else.
No, they bought but like $100 of the box.
I don't care. It's fine. It's just.
And yeah, we paid for
like
everything else. That's why we have half
that fuzzy
a ceiling.
microphone above your head. That's totally ours.
Right.
Now this mic stand we've actually had and we found it in the trash like a long time ago.
It's Tushy time.
What? Is that is that your way of saying you need a potty break?
Yes, I do.
Okay, well then we could probably just wrap it up.
Let's just end this now.
Unless you want to do an official sponsor, just
I already
break
did.
it up. Oh, you did?
It's Tushy time.
Brought to you by Tushy.
Yep.
Bamboo toilet paper.
And to be clear, the box does not show up saying Tushy.
Oh.
It is a...
Hey, McCole, where are you at? Like, you just joined. I just saw you join.
The box doesn't show up to say Tushy, so the mailman does not have to carry the box to your door that says Tushy. It is shenanigans. All right, we're done.
Danny wants the clown train wreck to keep going.
Dude, I have to pee.
Well, go pee. We'll wait.
All right, keep talking about Tushy.
It's like, this segment, this segment is brought to you by our official sponsor, Tushy Toilet Paper. Now, for those of you who do not realize, Tushy is this amazing toilet paper that is great because it's already pea colored. So, if you have any sort of like drip concerns, you don't have to worry about it because, the paper's already kind of yellowish. So, you just clean it up and it's fine. It's really hard to rip, by the way.
It's really unbleached. It's made of bamboo. And it's very firm. It's very firm.
Right. If you're looking for the softest caning experience that you can get, you will just attack your butthole with bamboo toilet paper. That is what Tushy is good for. What? Drip dry. There we go. Right. So for those of you who
I actually find it very, very comforting.
Right. Well, it can be. It has a certain amount of elasticity to it.
All right.
Why?
Danny's like, we've really got something going now. He likes the show.
Dude, Danny, are you trying to ruin my show?
Yeah. I drank half your drink too. And I stared at Daniel like a foot away from his face.
It worked.
While he gave an advertisement for Tushy.
He did not break me. I delivered the advertisement as we had discussed. Right?
Tushy's never shipping me another batch of toilet paper again.
Fine.
No, because we've ruined it.
We've ruined everything.
Right. You know the thing I like about the Tushy toilet paper is that it doesn't ball up on you. You know how you end up with like those little like butt crack nuggets? It doesn't do that. It just sticks. It just stays right where it's supposed to.
That is actually part of their advertising scheme.
Is it?
Because it's not bleached and it's a more solid
It's a more
paper.
It's substantial.
It does not leave residue behind.
It's substantial.
Right? Yeah. It doesn't leave residue behind, which most cotton
It's
and
not.
soft
It's not quite bum velour, but it's close.
And see, this is important because you know paper.
Right. I do. That's what I'm saying. It's just like, this is why I felt encouraged to just endorse this, because as a paper professional, I've been in some rough situations. And, It's like everywhere I go, there is a roll of Tushy in my backpack because you never know when you're going to hit, some sort of inclement porta-john, some sort of like shady Ukrainian like poop box, and you're like, I cannot.
This is a paper you can actually fold and reuse, whereas most paper you cannot.
Yeah.
And if you're in one of those situations, you kind of need, like, if you've only got 6 little pieces of tissue and they have nothing.
Right.
Like, you want 6 pieces of tissue tushy. It's opposed to, like, some blow-your-nose tissue that's going to, like, evaporate as soon as it touches anything.
Okay, Nicole has labeled us as off of the rails.
Off
the rails. Officially off the rails.
I don't see that.
I see it.
Well, that's because the official interview portion is over. We ended.
Right.
And this is more of just like the extended version after party.
This is the after party, see?
This is the after party. So for any of you who are latecomers, you can scroll back through the comments and some other things, and if you have any questions,
we finish.
Oh, you
can't rewatch until we're done.
Oh, okay. Well, guess you're just SOL then. You're
it
just
is
on
the morning show.
You're just on the party train now. You're just on the party train.
The morning show, and
until
we're
we're
laughing, and you don't know why.
That was the whole point of that. Was that morning TV show, talk shows, like, clue us into the joke if you're gonna keep laughing for an hour and a half. Come on. Just say it's about Tushy.
Do it on camera, please. Terrible. I'm sorry.
You're missing it. So the live studio audience is over here playing tracks off her phone, messing with everybody. It's professional in an Irish accent. Go back a few seconds, you can hear it go, professional Irish accent.
Okay,
I'll close it down.
Are we okay with closing this down?
Yeah.
Are we done with off the rails?
It's about the journey, Danny says.
It is about the journey.
It is about the journey.
Not the destination.
That's right.
All right.
All right.
We took this journey.
Yeah.
Did you have fun?
It was a good time. It was a good time. Yeah. Thanks for having me down to your dungeon. And
You're never leaving.
no, that's awkward.
Why do you think I said it with creepy eyes?
Right.
You're never leaving.
That's fantastic. Well, at least we're fully stocked on toilet paper.
We do have 2 boxes. 2 whole boxes.
Like, no, and when they say boxes, they don't mean like, oh, no, it's not like a little, like, oh, this is how, no, this is like industrial cases. Like 200 rolls of toilet paper in each one. These guys, these guys are set up.
So many rolls.
These guys are set up for like the butthole apocalypse.
No,
I mean it's gonna
Trumpocalypse.
Trumpocalypse. Gotcha. Right.
What do you think the first thing is gonna go? We're gonna lose toilet paper. What are you gonna do? Everybody's gonna be wiping leaves. We'll be stocked with bamboo.
You know what? Just go European and make a bidet. Just get a
We
bidet.
screwed that up.
Yeah, we bought a fancy French curve toilet, and you can't put anything on that.
So now we'll have to do a handheld bidet. We've thought of all the things.
Either way, I'm just saying, you can bidet your worries away, and then you don't have to worry about as much tushy.
And on that note, thank you for joining us.
Who invited her?
You brought her.
No.
I did invite her, but you had the option of saying no, Kim. No.
Yeah, like I have that option.
Nikki always just says, "You bought the cow."
You bought the cow.
I got that from another friend.
Sad thing is, I'm the cow in this situation.
I did buy
bought
the
the
cow. I paid a lot for that cow.
I have suspected lactation.
Danny says we're so far off the rails, we're in space.
Sweet space. We don't expect people to follow us there.
No, it's fine.
So, we are done.
All right.
Tea time, April
For like
29th.
the 15th time.
Right? I took a potty break and we kept going.
Right. Well,
April 29th at 11:30, Long Island Iced Teas and Hot Toddies. Next Cbus Creatives is May 6th. And join us for another Off the Rails fun time. Bye.
All right, that was Cbus Creatives Live, everybody, with Daniel Colvin. I cut out the live studio audience who's trying to mess with me. So, in a galaxy far, far away, in the space that we wound up in, join us next time, 2 weeks for the next Cbus Creatives Live, and next weekend we're going to be doing tea time, 11:30 a.m. on Sunday morning. Thanks a lot. See you later.